before Darwinbox, we were on multiple smaller platforms, PEO setups in the US and Canada, manual spreadsheets in other countries, and then manual spreadsheets to get a global picture of things. So really what brought us on that journey to Darwinbox was how do we scale from a global level, and how do we make it a more seamless experience for our employees. Knowing that we're a company that's scaling quickly, we needed to implement something that gave us visibility on a global perspective and the ability to manage talent on a global perspective, manage compensation on a global perspective, and Darwinbox offered all those opportunities to us. That's been the biggest thing, coming from a very manual, spreadsheet-driven process to a system that we can go pull data and utilize it to make our decisions has been a huge impact to make us much more efficient. The other module I use very often would be the data analytics module, which helps me on a day-to-day basis do report ups to our leadership team and really allow myself and my team to go make the right decisions for Astera Labs based on data-driven approaches. Overall, it was a very positive experience. It was a lot of work. I think if we would have come from a system already over to Darwinbox, it would have actually been much more efficient. But being a scaling company at the time, coming from a very small number of people and growing quickly, some of that process and data just wasn't in place. It was there, I should say, in place, but more in our heads versus being documented or already sitting in a platform. So that created some of the challenges along the way, but I think what allowed us to get through that was the support of the Darwinbox team. Very hands-on. For months, I was on morning calls every day, sometimes twice a day, with the Darwinbox team, and that was for no other reason than they were there to help us through the process and help fill in the gaps. We were, again, a smaller scaling company at the time, and we're still staffing up our HR team, so it was really just myself, and I had some support from others on the team, but majority myself to go implement this until we were able to bring on a few other additional resources. So Darwinbox really helped fill that gap and was really a thought partner along the way on how we should go build and set up the system based on what they've seen previously, as well as based on the inputs that we've given. From an employee experience, I think the user friendliness of the system is what really drove us towards Darwinbox. So I would say from them being my most important customer, their experience has been very positive, right? A lot more sits in one central location. My managers finally have the opportunity to do performance reviews on a global scale, to do compensation reviews and cycles on a global scale in one system versus spreadsheets that are created by me and rolled up that set you up for possible errors, right, along the way, where now it's much more efficient and there's the likelihood of errors is not there. So from that perspective, it's made a huge impact to the team. From an HR perspective, this is the first time I'm able to look at things from a global scale in one location. And then really dive deep into it, and this is where your data analytics, I spoke to it earlier a little bit, comes into play, and is a very positive experience for us because I can filter down to whatever I want to see, whether that's country, department, level, and so that allows us to go really understand where we are from a landscape today, and help us come up with a plan that allows us to get where we want to go over the next couple of years. I would say helping us kind of see into the future a little bit more. We can dive into all the data, all the analytics we want to, but I think what AI can bring to us is that ability to get a step ahead, right? Kind of predict what's coming, but we'll want to scale with it at the right pace, right? I think you can move too quickly into it, but I look at it, how can it make us more efficient? How can it provide a better employee experience within the platform, whether that's adding additional modules based on where we see things today and where we want to grow and develop our employee population. So that's where I would like to see AI utilized, as well as I think it can make us more efficient on onboarding, looking at talent, making talent predictions, understanding where our risks are. I don't know if I trust it to fully make the decisions today, but I trust it to influence us and point us in the right direction. I think AI is already there, whether you call it something else or not, in a lot of decisions that are driven in HR today, but where I see AI going in the future is helping us on the talent decision making, on development for the employees, on who's at risk of leaving the company, who's based on performance reviews and other data in the system, who should we be focusing on as top talent, hypo talent, and how do we go develop them, and what are potential roles for them in the future. That's where I see AI coming in coming years. I'll give two examples for how I would explain Darwinbox. Number one is committed. And I say committed because they are truly there whenever I need them. They're a phone call away. They're very receptive to feedback, and that's one thing that's been a great experience, right? Feedback in both directions, and I think it's allowing us to both become better organizations. And then the other term I would use is thought partner. Sometimes I go in and again, we're growing, we're scaling, we have multiple directions we can go, and so we can utilize Darwinbox from an HRIS perspective or system perspective and get their inputs based on things they've seen in the past or views they have, along with ours, to really help go drive the right decision for our company. Relationships. I think the relationships you have with your employees can't be driven by machinery, so I think that true people connection will continue to be there. That's a good question. I think in the past, thoughts on HR is that, hey, they hire, they fire, they take care of payroll. I think HR or people today plays a much larger role in the company. You can be a business partner, you can do the true HR, there's all the specialty areas inside of HR. So I think as a people team or HR team today, you play a much larger and have a much larger impact in the company compared to where maybe HR was 10, 15, 20 years ago. And I'm assuming we're talking about AI strategy for HR. AI strategy for HR it's definitely a partnership, right? I don't think you can drive anything in today's companies with one organization now. So I would say I partner with our IT team, I partner with our legal team. There's a lot of influence that would go into making any decision around AI for the company. So you can't just go drive something from an HR perspective. You have to have buy-in from the right leaders, right stakeholders to really make it successful. So it's a true partnership, and we would bring in multiple functions to help drive those decisions. I would say it's the same golden rule I would follow. I mean, making sure that your decision making and what you're utilizing the process for is really driving the right outcome, right? So focused on our people, focused on development, focused on making everyone better, but making sure that we're staying within the guardrails that are appropriate for the workforce. So not stepping into areas that maybe don't make the right impacts for our talent, but utilizing it to make it more efficient, make it a better experience for our employees and for leadership in general. Endless, I would say. I think this opens up more and more opportunities for HR to continue to make large impacts across all organizations. So I think this is just that first step in a new direction to continue to make the best employee experience possible at companies.